Hi everyone, welcome to this special edition of PD Talk. This is BFA International Convention Center where 2018 Media Cooperation Forum on Belt and Road is being held. I'm Wang Tian, head of the People's Daily English Language app. As we all know, artificial intelligence is changing the media industry and the way it operates. So today we're going to talk about AI and media transformation. I know I'm not an expert on AI, but we are very glad that four technical and media experts are joining us. They will share with us how AI transforms media from their own experience. First, let me introduce our panelists, Mr. Zheng Wen, Vice President of AI Technology at Kuaishou. He worked at several companies in Silicon Valley in the fields of computer graphics and deep learning. He's now leading the effort on developing AI at Kuaishou. Mr. Chen Yuqiang, the co-founder and the chief scientist of Full Paradigm. He focuses on heterogeneous transfer learning and automatic machine learning. He used to work for Baidu and Toutiao. And Mr. Guy Zitter, senior advisor and former managing director of the Daily Mail UK. He helped develop successful digital growth strategies for the Daily Mail. And Mr. Fabien Friedman, Deputy Editor General of La Provence, France. He's in charge of the digital activities and video businesses. Well, again, welcome. So my first question goes to Mr. Zheng and Mr. Chen. How would you describe and evaluate the change that artificial intelligence has brought to the Chinese media, please?
I think the key word here is efficiency. AI is a tool that can improve the efficiency of content distribution and content creation. Take our platform as an example. Now we can understand and extract information from videos that what kind of person is inside the video, what kind of emotion they have, what kind of scene it is, and also what kind of music is playing on the background. And on the other side, we also have an understanding of the users based on their profiles and behaviors. So we can predict based on this history what kind of interest they are at the current moment. And matching these two information, we will be able to deliver the information to the user who is the most relevant. And more importantly, this is done on a very large scale in real time. So take our platform as an example. We have more than 10 million videos uploaded every day, and we have accumulated more than 7 billion videos on our platform. We also have more than hundreds of millions of users viewing our contents every day. So if you want to match each video to each user, it would generate more than trillions of pairs to select from. And our machines can do that decision in less than a second for every user. So that's a huge improvement of efficiency. And also AI is used to improve efficiency of content creation. For example, in the past, if you want to modify a video, for example, you want to change one of the characters' clothes into the, say, Halloween costume, you would take professionals' hours or days of work. And right now, use the technology we developed, human pose estimation. We can do that on even the low-end mobile phone. User just do a single press of button, and that change will be made. So, and these changes also impacted the traditional media. For example, we cooperated with the People's Daily in just the past week, an event called Time Museum, where we collect videos from our users that are recording the memorable objects from the past 40 years that shows the development of our time. And up to this point, we have more than 30 million users participated. So it is a very new way of collecting information, and it's a huge improvement of the efficiency.
Okay, so people always have the illusion that AI have already changed the whole media industry. But to my opinion, well, it's only the part of the story. So I'll tell why. AI booms in 2000, and at that time, you already have the internet, and you already have the AI. One of the examples of the AI at that time with connection to media is the Yahoo News. Everybody here knows that this product. The product and the technology using Yahoo News is very good. It's great. Everyone can see the front pages. But why Yahoo News? We don't regard as Yahoo News changes all the media industry, but we now regard as AI has changed many things. That's because Yahoo News do not change the habits of reading news. So those employees come to their companies and take a coffee and sit behind their computers and open the Yahoo News and see news. So at that time, we don't think the AI have changed the media industry. What makes changes mainly is because the newly invented channel for people to connect to the information, that is the mobile phones. So you can use your mobile phones while you're eating, while you commute to your company, while you're working. So if even you have only 10 minutes, 20 minutes, you can take up your phones and look at those apps. So that's why we have a boom of those short movies, of those small games. So what makes difference to the medias, I think, is the way of those information connecting to the people. So when it comes to the problem that's how to utilize those users' fragmentation time, AI can help, and AI is the only way to help. Because we have millions of users, they have lots of time slots, lot of time to spend on informations. If you want to feed them well, you want to spend time on your app, you have to grab their interest, grab their habits. So AI, opposite to human, can cater for everyone's independent needs. In another sense that besides those professional generated contents, PGC, we have lots of UGC here, especially for everyone's daily needs. So if you put the PGCs and UGC together, you have a very, very large sea of informations. If you want to link the people and the informations, you need AI. And we have seen proven apps that AI can help the efficiency of delivering the information to the right people.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Zitter and Mr. Friedman, would you please share with us how AI is being used and the advantages and challenges it brings to the newsrooms in your own country?
Well, the difference between what's happening now and what's happening 5 years ago, I think is primarily speed. Certainly in internet terms, if you are first with the news, right, that is an enormous advantage. And so speed is crucial. And AI enables the news desk to trawl through vast amounts of information and identify the stories that the trained journalist, I emphasize that, is interested in looking at, and identifies it faster than any human being possibly can. But it does take journalistic intervention and guidance to get these tools to work. And these tools exist now in the market, but crucially, it is speed that is really the difference, and the information capacity that you can go through. So I would say that's the big thing. That information also enables things like facial recognition, and therefore you can go and look and search for things that you would never have been able to do historically because of the volume of information you'd have to go through it'd make it an impossible task. It would take years. Yet AI and cloud computing give us the capacity to actually pore through this and identify exactly what's going on there. I mean, an example would be Jamal Khashoggi and trawling through facial recognition, so you can see he went in, but he didn't come out. And that has got to be helping get to the truth. And AI and that search for that information, right, is a hugely valuable asset, and I think that's what we should be focusing on there. But it does require human guidance.
Au sujet de l'intelligence artificielle, je pense qu'il y a deux problématiques aujourd'hui qu'il faut tenir compte. D'un côté, on l'a déjà dit, la problématique de la distribution. C'est-à-dire que nous sommes en avance et nous avons déjà beaucoup travaillé sur la distribution de l'information pour arriver vers le fantasme qu'est le site unique pour chaque personne. Sur ce point-là, je pense que nous sommes assez avancés et nous avons beaucoup travaillé, nous travaillons encore beaucoup. Pour moi, la plus grosse problématique que nous avons aujourd'hui au centre des médias, c'est l'acceptation même de l'intelligence artificielle au sein des newsrooms. Je veux dire, on reste quand même sur une certaine méfiance de tout ce qui est intelligence artificielle par rapport au journalisme. On l'a dit, le journaliste ne pourra pas remplacer l'intelligence artificielle et l'intelligence artificielle ne pourra pas remplacer le journaliste. Mais aujourd'hui, dans les médias, nous sommes au balbutiement de l'intégration de la newsroom dans une rédaction. Et cela est très compliqué. C'est-à-dire que ça nous demande de réfléchir à plein de choses, c'est-à-dire la circulation de l'information, même l'espace autour du newsroom, c'est-à-dire que c'est vraiment quelque chose qui aujourd'hui est nouveau pour beaucoup de journalistes. Alors je ne veux pas dire pour les pure players qui ont vraiment l'habitude de travailler sur toutes ces problématiques de data et d'intelligence artificielle, mais surtout pour les journaux beaucoup plus classiques qui restent encore cette scission entre le print et ce qu'on va appeler le web. Et beaucoup de journalistes n'ont pas encore la culture et l'utilisation de toute l'intelligence artificielle. Et aujourd'hui, pour nous, médias, c'est, je dirais, le chantier prioritaire, puisque sur la distribution, on arrive déjà à avoir des premiers résultats qui nous permettent d'observer que ce soit de la publicité, que ce soit de l'information. Nous sommes déjà en avance. Donc pour moi, en tout cas, le plus gros chantier à venir est sur l'utilisation de l'intelligence artificielle dans la newsroom.
Mr. Zheng, some people argue that one issue with using smart machines is their inability to explain how they make decisions. They're like black boxes. So what's your take on it?
I don't think it's a black box. Actually, with our platform, the AI algorithm is not a black box at all, because they are designed and they are being monitored and controlled by humans. It's not just some algorithm run on its own. We delicately designed this algorithm to run for example, to give an example, one of the important performance index we monitor is called the Gini coefficient. That means we want our platform or community to be, the content distribution is as evenly as possible. We will design some algorithms to ramble up the information just to make that coefficients lower. But sometimes in some unpredicted events, human has to come in to make the changes, to do the manual changes.
Chen?
So talking about black box, I think it is the common problem in machine learning and artificial intelligence. Take another view that we don't think that if you're training an algorithm, you think it's a black box because most of the people don't know how to train it and don't know what is machine learning. But if you're training a dog, you don't think it's very hard, very difficult. You can give it a bone and call it to sit. If he sits, then give some rewards, and if the dog don't sit, you give some warnings. So you can train a dog by this way, but you cannot train the machine learning in this way. We think it is a problem. But in fact, the way of training a machine learning is exactly as we train a dog. You have some activities, and you have some response. You have some rewards, and you get a machine learning algorithm like dog's brain to think why you do these activities and get this response. So and then you have the brain and you conduct your next activity. So the full paradigm, our company is trying to make this black box open to everyone. So if everyone knows how the algorithm works, if everyone can have the experience of training their own dog, they won't think it's a black box. They will think they will very proud of have his own intelligence. Yes.
So Mr. Zietern and Ms. Friedman, as a journalist, what do you think about this black box theory?
Well, I love the dog analogy. I think that's really very good indeed. I wish you'd come and train my dog. The best example I can give is at the moment, you wouldn't call it AI, but at Mail Online, right, what happens is we have an algorithm, and that algorithm drives stories to the top or the bottom of the page. If you just left it to the algorithm, right, then the woman with the least clothes on would always end up at the very top of the page. So that's no use at all. So you've then got to curate that with journalism. So I don't think that's complex. I don't think that's difficult, and it certainly isn't a black box. I do think that there are new journalistic tools that we should all be beginning to use, and it does involve more training for journalists, because now you can give journalists a tool that enables them to search by geography, just by a postcode or a building. It enables them to search by name, right? So you can put an individual's name in, and it enables them to search by subject or topic. And the algorithm, right, which is actually AI, then combines all of those different components and will ping on the journalist's screen when someone does anything in the public domain. So if someone tweets on that subject, if someone puts a video up on YouTube, because the video is the big way to go, if it appears in any newsroom in the world. So this is using Reddit, YouTube, Twitter, this is a very clever piece of kit. It's going to replace what we use at the moment, Factiva or Data Miner, which some of you may be using, and it's called Krasana, and it is definitely AI-driven, but it is a wonderful tool for journalists to use, but it's still at its heart simple. Right? You are training, but you've got to train the journalist to use the tool properly. So in this instance, perhaps the journalist is the dog. Right?
Il est très intéressant d'avoir suivi ce forum en entier, parce qu'on pourrait se dire avant que finalement l'intelligence artificielle est le pire ennemi du journaliste. Mais en fait, on arrive à un point où on se dit justement que l'intelligence artificielle est peut-être l'avenir du journalisme. C'est-à-dire que grâce à l'intelligence artificielle, les professionnels vont pouvoir se concentrer sur des sujets très profonds. C'est-à-dire qu'on pourra donner à l'intelligence artificielle des sujets basiques. On parlait de la bourse, on parlait du sport, des sujets qui sont basés sur des datas et qui vont créer des algorithmes. Et on va laisser le temps aux journalistes finalement de faire de vraies enquêtes, d'aller chercher le sujet en profondeur et de proposer au lecteur quelque chose qu'il attend vraiment. Donc au final, l'intelligence artificielle va permettre aux journalistes de développer un nouveau journalisme et va permettre aussi aux médias de développer un nouveau média. C'est-à-dire que nous aurons la possibilité de créer des news très courtes qu'on pourra faire très rapidement, et au final, la vraie valeur ajoutée de l'homme restera dans le journalisme.
Okay, thank you. So my last question is, we journalists have to accept the fact that machines now have an impact on how journalism is practiced. So I wonder whether you can give us some suggestions to our journalists on how to better cultivate thinking in this digital age.
I'm not in the industry of the media, but I will give my observations in general. So AI is a trend. If that's common sense, then everyone should embrace the new technology as soon as possible. If you want to learn how to swim, you better dive into the pool.
So in my opinion, if we want to use AI to help your creation of better reports, perhaps the AI needs to be improved. So the reporter journalists need to be focused more on the deep reports, because AI cannot help you, and to produce those analytics, critics, and those leading opinions That's what human can do. But what AI can help you is that you can help you spread the information. You don't need to worry about the information to spread to everyone. If you make good wine, you don't worry about your bar is located deep inside an alley. So if you have a good article, AI can help to spread, but the journalists need to produce more good articles.
What is indisputable is that change is coming. People that can't grasp change and don't go with the flow of change are going to get left behind. Adaptability is now the biggest strength that you can possibly have, and that applies, I think, to business and certainly to journalism. So the journalists have to learn to adapt, they have to be able to play to their individual strengths, and they have to understand, right, the technology that exists and the way it's going, and they have to learn to use it. And if they don't do that, they will get left behind. But if they do use it properly, they will produce better journalism. Right? Using their skills and technology, AI, they can produce better journalism. And that'll be proof against the future. That will get people reading, right, and watching what they do. And that, I think, is what all journalists have to do.
Je pense que le journaliste ne doit pas comprendre l'intelligence artificielle comme un adversaire, mais plutôt comme un partenaire qui doit l'aider à prendre des décisions et à approfondir son sujet. Et peut-être qu'il est important pour nous aussi d'avoir conscience que le journaliste ne doit plus simplement savoir écrire, il doit aussi savoir analyser des datas, il doit être un relais entre l'écriture et la technique, et c'est ça qui lui permettra de dompter l'intelligence artificielle pour travailler dans des meilleures conditions.
Okay, great. I would like to thank all the panelists for sharing your insights. You have given us a better understanding of how AI impacts our media ecosystem and how we can cope with it. Thank you.